Welcome to the channel. This is Imagine Blue, and we are the Imagine Blue people that you have for today.
Exactly.
We are the
Imagine
Blue
You
men.
imagined us when you were thinking about your
Blue
imagination.
All right. I'm OC.
I'm Chuku.
I'm Scott.
I'm Crystal.
And
Well, I like the effort in the intro. That's for sure.
It's like you're introducing a whole new species. Like,
yes.
we're like,
Yeah, I mean, we're just here. We're gonna talk about some of the stuff that we've been watching recently, and
Yeah, just chat, just chill.
chatting with each other. Yeah. So, how have you guys been?
Good. I mean,
not bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched anything as of lately, just because I started a challenge for myself to
jump rope.
No, not the jump roping one. That doesn't really correlate. The challenge is quiet meals. I call it quiet meals, and I just like eat without doing anything.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How
so
long
I've
does it
been
take you to eat?
not very long.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, but I used to like eat while like reading a book or watching
oh, okay.
a movie or something.
Mhm.
So it would take longer.
Okay.
So now that I don't do that, it just takes like maybe 15 minutes or less to eat, and then I'm just like done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've been doing that for like almost 2 weeks.
Have you seen any benefit from it?
Yeah, I think so.
More time, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
mindfulness.
Yeah, I'm more focused. I'm just like
Okay.
I don't really break from what I'm doing. It's more like I eat and then I just do it again. Versus like if I were to watch a movie or read a book, it's a complete
Yeah,
break.
and then like your like dishes are all crusty because you didn't put it in the sink and wash it right away. You know.
Yeah.
I always wash it right away after I
Oh,
finish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I love like watching a show while eating. Like,
I
that's,
do
like,
too.
my
I do
thing.
too. That's why it's a challenge. It's
yeah,
just gonna be
that's a
for
challenge
30,
for
30
me.
days, and then I'll see from there if I want to like how much I want to integrate it into my life.
Like even when I like buy food, like sometimes if I get like a fast food or something, like I'd be like, I want to eat it right now, but I'm like, no, I must watch it. Well, I must eat it while watching the show.
Wait
I
till
know.
I get home.
Or like
I
I,
totally
prepare
understand.
food and then it like just goes cold while I'm like browsing Netflix. Like,
Yeah,
what am I gonna put on? And
exactly.
I take like one bite
Yeah.
and then it's cold by the time I put something on.
But this is gonna be on you guys because I have literally not watched anything recently.
Oh man.
Yeah. Other than a few ProZD skits.
Oh my gosh.
He's making skits again on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should make our own skits.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, as far as TV shows go, the main two that I've been watching is Dragon Ball since I started watching that, and Better Call Saul since it's ending. So it's like I'm appreciating it getting its last episodes, and it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
It's been getting some love too. People really
I
like
put
it.
a Dragon Ball sticker on that thing.
I noticed that. I noticed that.
yeah,
It's because there was like stickies when I removed something there,
yeah.
and then it's sticky, and then I put a sticker there. So
And then,
so when you grab it, it's not sticking to your hand.
and I'm gonna make sure there's gonna be a Saul Goodman for that one specifically. Yeah, I've been loving that show, and I think one big thing I noticed with like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad that I like about them is this idea that how much you have to change your identity to get certain results, kind of a thing. Where it's like, and I think that's a kind of a universal kind of
Concept.
concept,
Sure.
yeah. in
Like
terms
fake
of-
it till you make it.
Well, not just that, but it's like, it's almost like the reason why you don't even get certain outcomes is certain habits. So it's like once you identify yourself as something else, it forces you to make different habits.
So
Well, yeah,
what's a
that's committing to the
specific
role.
example? Yeah, what's a specific example?
A specific example in
Yeah.
terms of just in life or in the show? Or whatever?
Either one.
Okay, in life would be like, let's just say, for example, you have a hard time going to the gym, right? Like I think that's a common one, right? And maybe your current identity is something like, I'm not really a gym person. But if you have an identity that's like congruent towards a gym, you're more likely to fall in because like psychologically speaking, human beings like to be
Yeah.
congruent, right?
I still call that fake it till you make it because if you start, it's not going to be authentic, but eventually it will be. That's like what people say when
Yeah.
that's what they mean when they say fake it till
Yeah,
you make it.
to an extent, but I guess the other side of it is like, is it really not you, or is it just a version of you that you're not like, you don't actually
You haven't
express?
developed yet.
Yeah, because it's like, for example, when you're a child, anytime someone told you to do a task, you could just do it easily. But it's when you're older, where you're like, oh no, I might suck at it, therefore I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's because
So-
like the more experiences you go through, the more you sort of shape your identity of yourself in your head. So it's like you failed at doing gym stuff. So you're like,
You like
I'm
develop an ego that you
Yeah,
have to-
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of context with like everything you do at that point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess going back to Better
really
Call Saul.
philosophical.
Yeah, we can go philosophical there, but
No, I like it.
But as far as how it connects to Better Call Saul, that theme continues where it's like he plays he's always going a different identity when he tries to change his life. But you also see like old habits don't die hard because
The slip and
he would slip into a bad habit that would release him to certain things. So it's interesting seeing that theme be played. And same goes with like Walter. Like it makes me rewatch a lot of the things that happen with Walter and be like, wait a minute, now I can see a lot of why Walter does this and whatnot. And that's another thing. And the show also plays within the timeline, so you get to see you get a retelling of certain events, which is also a beauty side of the show. So yeah, I just again, I'm really loving it.
How for a real life, how effective do you think it is to sort of try and reshape your identity in order to like do different things? I guess?
It's tough because it also depends on the task. Like I don't think, for example, like let's just say you have a hard time cleaning your room. I don't think you need to be like, I'm now the cleaner, and because I'm the cleaner, I should always clean my room, right? So I think that can be challenging. But like, let's say, for example, you want to get into film, but your background is like teaching. There could be something where maybe if you start, doing certain activities that film people do, understand the language, kind of adopt the nature of it, that could definitely be useful. So I think it depends on the task.
It's all about applying yourself.
So
Yeah, I've never really taken the identity approach. I'm just like, just keep trying to do it.
Yeah.
You'll eventually get it.
But
I think the way that I've been,
Like imagine you don't know the first thing about like rock climbing and you like walk into a bouldering gym, you're like, watch this, and you just like,
Watch this.
You just like just bail every time.
As far as-
I like bouldering. It's actually kind of
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
I know, let's
Bouldering
do it
is
soon.
great.
Let's do it soon.
Yeah,
yeah, let's go.
you went recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Let's get back into it. I'm
Did you
down.
go to Hangar 18?
I went to Hangar 18 in Orange, and it's a really new one, and it's just bouldering. There's no belaying or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. I was like super sore the next day, felt good, and my whole session was free. And I was like, wait, because I had a Hangar 18 like subscription, and then it made me think that like I didn't cancel it over COVID, and I've been paying this whole time.
Oh my God.
And I checked my statement, and there's nothing on it. I think the
Nice.
girl just
Okay.
thought I was still a member, and I wasn't. So I was like,
wow.
"Ooh, it's for
Oh,
free."
nice,
I
yo.
just paid for the $3 shoes.
You guys remember how like we tried to go like 2 different occasions, and on each occasion we just went to an
Yeah,
escape room
I,
instead?
don't, that, I know. I think
was-
about that all the time. Like, why did that happen to
Yeah,
us that we
that was kinda
couldn't
weird.
get into a huge rock climbing gym twice in a row and just did escape rooms instead?
Yeah, that was. I remember that all the time.
I think I remember what happened was that we were trying to do an intro class. For some reason, we had to do an intro class. I don't know why we had to, but then the intro class time was gone. Like it was past the time that they were doing intro classes when we
Interesting.
got there.
Was it both times it was that situation?
I feel like we wouldn't have made that mistake twice, but that definitely something happened the second time.
Yeah, something happened. Maybe
Yeah.
it was in my journal. I
Hey,
can review it later.
Let's boulder today or tomorrow.
Maybe that'd be cool. That'd
Probably
be cool.
can't do this today, but if you guys wanted to try tomorrow.
We'll figure it out.
tomorrow.
Yeah, but
figure it out.
going back to the whole identity thing,
No, it can play into it.
We're
It
like
can play-
making plans on the podcast.
Hey, it works.
Hey,
going back to
chats
the whole,
with the Imagine Blue species. Like, come on.
I see it as more so like, what do I want my identity to look like in the future?
That's also another thing.
So when it comes to most recently, I was talking to Chuko about this. I'm trying to learn a language. I'm trying to learn Igbo, which is the language that my family speaks.
Nice.
From Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I have, started to take steps to be that, because I want to be the person who, when I am 35 or 40, I can be able to go to Nigeria and be comfortable and be able to speak with people around me. I want to be that type of person.
Yeah, I think that example resonates
Yeah.
with me a lot more. Yeah, just because for me, my Cantonese kind of sucks. Like I can speak it,
Yeah.
but it sucks. I can listen for sure, but it's like I want to be at that level where I'm comfortable talking to like my family and my grandma.
Right. And I'm at the stage where I really only know a few words here and there.
Me too.
But like recently I found a podcast that goes through like teaching Igbo language, and I've been listening to that. I've kind of just like been listening to episodes on repeat. And then I've been interacting with my parents and like letting them know, hey, I'm really trying to do this.
Nice.
So they're intentionally speaking to me in Igbo so that I can be able to pick up more and more.
That's awesome.
Of those things. So, but that's all because I have an image of who I want to be, you know, in the future. And that's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. I've been training jiu-jitsu for the last year. And when I started, I was like, or when I was thinking about it, I was like, I wonder, because I've always had like an idea of myself in the future, like, oh, it would be so cool to be like that adult who's like a low-key black belt in martial arts. And then at some point I was like, well, that has to start somewhere. That has to start somewhere. Gotcha. So like, why not start now? I have the time and resources to be able to dedicate to something like that, at least for right now. So why not start the journey and just see where it goes?
I find it interesting because your two examples to me are completely different. From my perspective, the Igbo one is more like, this is your identity. This is like, you know, you're part of that culture.
It's part of my cultural heritage.
Exactly. So for that, I get it. Like for me, Cantonese is the same way. I'm like, my family speaks it. My cousins speak it. Everyone around me speaks it whenever I'm around them. So it makes sense, like to me, that I want to do this because it already feels like it's a part of my identity. I don't have to force it. It is like my identity.
Right.
I mean,
and then the second part, the second part for you, envisioning yourself as a black, low-key black belt, high-key now, but you're like, that's a goal, you know?
Right.
That you've formed for yourself that you really, really want. That's why to me those two things are very, very different. The second aspect is what I was saying earlier, like just keep doing it until you get it. But
I guess another way of looking at it, because if we're bringing out Breaking Bad, it's not like when Walter White wanted to, you know, it's not like Walter White wanted to be Eisenberg, right? He didn't just say, hey, I just want to shave my head and, you know, start hurting people.
I think
to
he
get
sort
rich.
of wanted.
I mean, there's a desire. Okay,
there's an argument.
There's obviously there's a desire in it, but I think it's like he has a specific goal, but what it takes to become that goal. And this is something that I love about TV, where it's like when characters have a goal, you see how like that pursuit of a goal changes who they are, and it's almost like for them to even achieve it, they had to let go of themselves, of what their certain current habits or belief systems to get it.
Right.
So I guess that's another way of looking at it.
But I feel like Walter's example is very extreme because he actually goes by an alter ego and everything.
Yeah.
But I think most characters, we just call it character progression,
Development.
Right?
Yeah.
Development.
Yeah,
character development.
That is what we call character development, but in some ways it is still like it's a like identity change to some extent.
It's so okay. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but kind of not. Talking about different identities and having like that kind of struggle. I recently watched Black Swan again. Because that Florence Pugh movie that's coming out, Don't Worry Darling, it like gave me a lot of Black Swan like vibes in the trailer, and so I was like, oh, let me rewatch this movie and see how. And that movie is so like the themes of identity are so strong in that movie, because the whole thing is that she starts out as this like super repressed control kind of control freak ballet dancer, and she's trying to learn how to be a little bit more free and spontaneous, more edgy.
Yeah.
And the juxtaposition of those two identities and trying to embody that in order to create art was essentially the theme of that whole movie. And so it's interesting how we have to wrestle with these aspects of who we are, and that whole idea of you have to, you know, drop one part of yourself in order to kind of embrace another part. It's crazy. And that's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I can see that because I mean, I was talking about this the other day too, right? There's like lots of philosophy about like trying to live in the present and the now, because like everything that has led up to this point in your life, like you have history with these experiences, and now you're gonna have all these inhibitions with like everything you do and things like holding you back. So I feel like
I think go for it.
Oh no, just that. Like it's a lot of like letting go of inhibitions, I guess. You know, any ones that like are holding you back that are like unhealthy.
Yeah. I totally agree with that, but I also feel like the statement itself is too generalized. Like, to live in the now can be easily misinterpreted.
I mean, that was a general one. That was a really like big umbrella like blanket statement.
Yeah, just because like when people say live in the present or live in the now, it almost sounds like they should just throw away a lot of the past or not think about the future, which I think is a mistake. Because I still think that whatever you do right now should be informed by the past, but like you said, just leave all the bad stuff.
Yeah, it's
take
more
all
about,
the good stuff and
like being mindful, like being very like I guess purposeful with your actions and being mindful instead of letting like stuff hold you back, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just, again, being present, right?
Dang, is Better Call Saul like a self-help? Is it gonna make me
no,
a better person?
it's. I mean, I don't know about
better
person. I want to
say
better. I mean, you'll be a better Saul Goodman. That's what you'll be.
You'll be presenting yourself as a better Saul Goodman.
But even then, we can take the theme again, even with Dragon Ball, right? Because I'm again watching Dragon Ball, and like for someone who knows what happens to Goku in the future, to see how he's getting there, there are a lot of moments where, like, just to see Goku, he has to learn how to concentrate, but he has a hard time concentrating. And then what forces him to concentrate? Little things like that. Like, you can see how those are little, you can say, identity shifts in characters. Although, the thing about Goku, though, which is the creator himself even admits that Goku's always supposed to be the same, which is why even in the future, he's still kind of childish or whatever. And that the whole thing is that the people around him change.
Right.
And that's, and that was a good... it's an interesting
it's a different way of storytelling, which it's the same with One Piece. Like Luffy is the same character I'm only in episode 300 something. But
I'm only on episode 300
and
something.
You still got 700 episodes to go.
Yeah, what the heck? You can't even speak on this.
No, but Luffy is the same character, and he's not necessarily somebody who has a character
you gotta
arc.
wait until you're around like 600 before you can talk about this.
But his whole thing is that he's a force that's changing the world around him.
Yeah,
and I think that it's a different way of telling a story, but it can also be very interesting.
Yeah, so that's another thing that I appreciate. That, and I just love how because when you watch Dragon Ball Z, you know how powerful they are. Yeah. So Dragon Ball, when they're not that power, you see how much resourceful they have to be.
I love Dragon
Ball.
Very
creative and whatnot. So
power pole.
Yeah, the power pole.
So useful.
Definitely. What he was about to get out in a tournament and then uses a power pole. Or no, there was one time he uses his Nimbus. Like, that's a smart thing. As nowadays, they can just fly, so it doesn't matter anymore. So it's like, I kind of miss that to extend it.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, those are TV shows. As far as movies go, I saw there was a movie on Netflix that I think it was the Russo brothers directed.
The Gray Man?
Oh,
yeah. I liked it. I really liked it. It was very, you know, it was kind of like I wouldn't say spy movie.
I didn't watch it, but I saw it was like generally favorable. Like, you know, it's nothing groundbreaking, but I know it's solid.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
I'll check it out.
It has that like banter, you know, where the villains are all like, well, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you.
Is it? I saw some people saying like Ana de Armas was like the standout. Do you agree?
I don't know who the actor is.
the girl, Ana de Armas.
The beautiful.
The one in like the flower suit.
Oh, okay. She was pretty good. She was pretty good.
She was pretty good.
She was pretty good.
But Chris Evans is.
Yeah, Chris Evans. I'm being real. I don't know. It's just his performance was really. I was entertained by his performance.
Okay.
You were interested by it, but was it good?
I thought it was amazing for me. I like Chris Evans' performance. Again,
so
maybe
Chris
I just
Evans is a standout
maybe
for you.
maybe it's because I like the character. I'll be honest with you. It's because
okay.
I'm biased towards those kinds of characters.
Okay.
So,
Fair
but
Just like a berserk, like an unhinged kind of
Yeah.
like evil guy.
Yeah, that unhinged evil dude. Like, yeah, I'm an asshole. So what? Like, I kind of like.
He's always been great as like assholes because I like remember like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. He's
true,
so
yeah.
good in that one, and like
then
even
in
in Not
Knives
Another
Out.
Teen Movie, he's like a douchebag. Like in Knives Out, he's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
He's tired of playing good guys. He's having way too much fun playing bad
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
Right.
I like that. The action was really, I don't know, maybe because the Russo brothers.
Russo
used
brothers are
actors.
great with action.
So
Yeah.
it was really nice seeing that. Yeah, I mean, I guess if there's any gripe, I wish there was more depth to the character. I feel like it was a little bit too superficial, but I enjoyed it. It was a good experience overall.
And then we all, or among us, watched 2 action movies in theaters, right? You guys saw Bullet Train.
Oh yeah,
Did
Bullet
you-
Train.
You watched it in theaters,
Yeah,
and then we
yeah.
watched Prey, but you watched it on Hulu, right?
I watched it on Hulu, which I honestly, my thoughts on Prey, they should have had a theatrical release for Prey.
I agree. I actually watched it in theaters. It was the last showing. It was put on by American Cinematheque or whatever. I went to LA to watch it, and they had the director there. Do you remember who it was? He also
I
did
don't.
Cloverfield Lane.
Oh really?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Oh man, we'll put it in the description or something. And I watched it. It was a interesting version. So the original script was written in the Comanche language, like by the first peoples.
Okay.
All right, and I watched it, and they filmed it, and the actors spoke in English.
Yeah.
But the way I watched it, it was a dubbed over version where the dub was in Comanche, and I was reading subtitles, and it was kind of weird at first. It was hard to like why am I watching like a dub and I can read the subtitle and I can read it on their lips. But once I got over that, I really liked that it was in Comanche. Like it sounded like really authentic, and I was like, oh, like this is cool. I wish they had filmed it because that was
Yeah.
the intent, to have it in Comanche. But yeah, it was good. Overall, like I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super entertaining.
I noticed that, so I watched the regular English version.
Which is what's on Hulu.
On Hulu.
Stream it.
And then I noticed that there was a Comanche version. As soon as I finished the movie, it was like, oh, Prey Comanche version. I was like, what is this? I wish I had seen this before. But then I started watching it, and I realized that it was just a dub.
It's a little strange,
instead
yeah.
of the actors actually speaking in Comanche, which
Yeah.
I wish that they had done.
Yeah, that's such a missed opportunity.
I wish they had
think
done that.
I think they got pushed back from like, I don't know, Hulu or someone to be like, oh, you gotta make it in English.
That's annoying.
Have you guys heard of the AI that can? They're developing an AI that can essentially change lip flaps.
I did see. I did hear about that. Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe they can like do it in the future or something. That would be
Maybe.
great.
Yeah.
Because the film is so good in my opinion for
I
like
would've-
a straight to Hulu.
Yeah, it's too good for a straight
It's
to
so
streaming.
fun. It's like something about it. Like it's very like actiony and fun, and like there's like lots of great like corny action stuff in it too. Still, that's very true to like the Predator series, because it's a Predator prequel.
Yeah.
But then it's against this like beautiful cultural backdrop for like no reason. It's so great. Like, and it's just so the
Yeah.
contrast is jarring, but like charming. Like
is.
it's great to watch.
It is.
Wait, where does it take place? Because I'm curious why they have to
Oh,
speak in Comanche.
It's a timepiece.
Yeah.
This is like pre-American colonization.
Yeah, Native
This is
American
like
tribes.
this is during the time of
Okay.
like French fur trappers, like
Okay, that
in
makes
just
sense.
barely coming to the
Okay.
Americas and Canada.
Yeah.
It's
makes
wild that it's a timepiece
And I was
Predators prequel.
I was kind of confused because I forgot it was a timepiece. I thought that because the way that they speak English in the English version, it's so
Modern, right?
modern.
Yeah.
From what I could read in the subtitles, I was
Yeah.
like, huh.
It's so modern, so it kind of throws me off until I realized that like, oh, it said, and then it came like Great Plains 1700 something in there, and I was like, oh, this is like 300 years ago. I
Yeah.
thought it was like a modern Native American tribe that's just like living out on the plains, because of the way that they were speaking English.
Was it pretty strange? Because that's how the new Star Wars movies are, where like it's kind of like sometimes they talk and it takes you out of it because it's too modern.
Yeah.
Was it like that?
It felt like that. It felt like
Okay,
it
because our
felt
experiences
like,
were different. Like
Yeah.
for me, I could like getting over the sub dub was hard, and for you, like just hearing them speak the language.
Yeah.
Because I heard like for that version, they start speaking in Comanche and then they
Yes.
like change the camera angle and like we're speaking English now.
Yeah, so I was really confused, and that's another reason why it would have been better if they had just done the whole movie in Comanche,
I wish.
or at least done 2 versions of the movie, like shoot one scene in Comanche, then shoot it again in English.
They
and then
can't
you
do
can
that.
pick-
It's so much happened. In
They can do that. I'm sure if they
No, they just need the AI.
they just need
Yeah, you're right. If it's just the dialogue parts, the action parts
Yeah.
are pretty crazy though. So it's
the action parts are really great. But the way that they did it, they start speaking Comanche, and then they switch to this really modern English. So I'm like, okay, this
takes
is
you
in
out of it.
modern times. And then they do 1700s. Oh, this is a long time ago, so there's no way they're speaking English. It's just for the audience. So that made it clear to me. And then there's a scene later on where where the French trappers come in, and they're speaking French, but then they have one guy who is speaking English, and then our main character starts speaking English, and they can understand each other. But I don't know if they're speaking English or if this guy just knows Comanche.
Well, I know that they were speaking Comanche because I watched the
Okay.
Comanche version.
Okay, so
he
yeah.
was like translating Comanche.
Okay, and that just like that, those things kind of took me out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Of the
So
movie.
this was on HBO? You said?
Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess that would be my gripe too. Like I wish it was as it was intended in Comanche.
Yeah.
Because that would be groundbreaking.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been actually like, never been done before, that it's in
Yeah.
like a First People's language. But I mean, aside from that, once you get over that, it's like just such an entertaining film. It's so
is.
fun to
It
watch.
is.
And it's very like, you brought this up before, that the first Predator movie, even though it's awesome, like part of its awesomeness is that it's like over the top, like
Yeah.
macho testosterone action.
I watched Predator after watching Prey, and yeah, it's such a dripping in testosterone.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
The description. Oh my god. Okay, keep talking.
It's a
I'm
lot,
going
keep
to
talking.
pull something up.
So there's still the spirit of like fun, like 80s action somehow in Prey, but it's also like the protagonist is a girl. She's a young Comanche girl. It's very coming of age because there's like, she's going through like the trials and tribulations of, well, she's actually going through a legit trial. They're like, oh, you're getting older. Pick your trial. She wants to hunt. Her mom
Damn.
wants her to be a gatherer, right? And then
God
she's like
dang.
seeing like, oh,
So this is
This
is a prequel, right?
yes, I'm not gonna get into it, but the protagonist is super cool, and it's really cool coming into it, as a woman, and like thinking like, man, if I was a young girl watching this, like this would be really great. Because you watch Predator as a kid, I'm sure lots of young boys like wanted to be Arnold, and like he's so strong and tough. But like now, like young girls have like someone to look up to who is like complete badass in my opinion, and like she's not like a Mary Sue. I hate using that term, but she's really not like.
That's good.
I don't think she's Mary Sue at all.
No, you gotta watch it. I don't want to go too much into it and just kind of like relay everything. I really want you guys to watch it. So like
The description I wanted to pull up the description because I laughed at the description, the difference in the description between Prey and the original Predator. For Prey, it's an all-new entry in the Predator franchise set 300 years ago, tells the story of a young Comanche woman, a fierce and highly skilled warrior who stalks and ultimately confronts a highly evolved alien predator with a technically advanced arsenal. And then the original Predator description, let me pull it up. Uh-oh.
you're good.
It's muscles versus monster when Arnold Schwarzenegger takes on a murderous space aliens in the jungles of Central America. Just that's it. It's muscles versus monster.
I love that. We got our monsters.
They're both great though. I love both. And like, it's funny, not just like the language thing. Did I mention already like the CGI is a little questionable?
Oh yeah.
It's a little iffy sometimes, but I still think that lends to the charm.
Yeah.
Because it's so like old school sci-fi during some parts, and against the like old like pre-American backdrop, it's just so like whoa, like, and then there's just some really fun scenes in it, and then like the action's great.
The action I think is actually better than the Predator, the original movie. I think the action in this movie is better.
Yeah, and there's some scenery. There's like some parts too where I'm like, dude, this is better than Revenant. Like, it's like,
I don't know
Really?
about that.
I'm just kidding.
As
It's like
far
if
as,
Revenant was like fun and then
yeah,
Predator was
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's definitely a much more fun movie than
All right,
Revenant.
you guys have convinced me.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Check it out.
I'm definitely sold.
I I, as the horror girl here, like I really enjoyed it, not just the like girl protagonist, but like it's a creature feature. Like Predator's awesome in it. Like, it's just fun to watch.
So should I watch Predator first, or does it not matter?
I don't think it matters
It
too
doesn't
much.
matter. Predator's like based on Dark Horse comics.
Oh,
So
is
it's a huge story.
Okay.
And like, the main thing is like Predator is just like a colonizing alien kind of race type thing at the end of the day. Big general like blanket thing for Predator. But if you watch it, you'll see like it's...
Yeah, I would say, okay,
I'm going to watch both. Which one should I watch first?
I would say watch the first one first.
Yeah, watch them in order.
Predator.
Yeah.
Predator? Okay.
Even though it comes like
Comes
timeline
after.
wise.
Yeah, but they're not connected.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Timeline.
fun to watch the prequel as intended, like, after the original.
Okay.
But yeah, highly recommend for just like a good entertaining watch.
Okay.
Definitely.
I am curious though, because we talked about this thing about like modern language within film or TV. How do you guys feel about that with like shows? Because like, I feel like sometimes it does kill my suspense of disbelief. Like for example, like Attack on Titan, where it's like clearly that's supposed to take place around like I mean, I don't know. It's supposed to take place like maybe the early
It's not clear
80s
though.
and 90s or whatever. I mean, 1800s or something like
Okay.
that. But yet they're using slang like, oh, this person's well, maybe not asshole, but they'll use modern slang.
Yeah.
Which is like, I like that, but at the same time, it's like, should you be saying that in that time period? It's like,
Well, it's a fictional world, so they have their own sort of, like, it's not our world.
that's true.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, there's a certain like language that you expect when you see a setting. You expect like a certain language. Like for me, I still bring up like Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in The Force Awakens, there's like a Star Wars language where it's like there's no flowery language, there's no slang, but then you have like Finn like, hey, you got a boyfriend? And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
what?
Exactly.
You got a cute boyfriend? Like what? I don't know. That's just like not very like Star Wars to me.
I mean-
And that's like one of the biggest examples of like that like language in movies or just media for me taking me out of it.
I mean,
modern language.
To me, a good example of this, and I think this is why certain people hate dubs, is like, for example, Dragon Ball Super, right? There's like, I don't know if you've seen the dub version of the battle between like the, what's it called? The Pride Troopers, where you have Dispo versus Goku.
I haven't.
Okay. The dub version, they clearly made him like a hood street black guy. So it's like, imagine hearing like, like you have this guy who's from this universe and he's talking all hood. It's like, well, I'm from Universe 11, y'all,
Oh,
and I'm about to go kick your ass. And it's like, at that point, you're like, this kind of takes me out of it. So it's like,
So maybe the thing is that it becomes an issue when it's reminiscent of something that we are familiar in a specific context, and they're putting it in a different context that doesn't make sense. Maybe that's what makes us uncomfortable.
I mean, to be fair, I thought it was funny. So to be fair,
I know that sounds amazing.
it was cool, and I'm like, I'm glad they're putting more black representation.
Oh my God.
Point is,
Don't
it's
say
like my point is, it's like that's where I'm saying where it's like there's, as much as I agree that a fictional universe, people can do what they want, there needs to be a level of congruency. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I think language, it's important to be cohesive with like, the story, the setting,
Yeah,
the
but
themes.
how do you treat aliens? Like, what? How do they talk? Like, are they American?
Aliens?
Are they?
like who do you mean? Like in Prey?
We're talking about Dragon Ball, right?
Oh.
There's so many alien characters. It's like, and characters from different universes. It's-
Robotic.
Yeah, how are they? There are robots actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think it should be okay, unless it's clearly based off of like hood people. I think it should be based off like what they're trying to go for.
like plain language.
Like,
plain
like if a
English.
person's supposed to be a superhero, I guess it's whatever superhero icon is meant to be. I think that's the best way I can see.
Right, but what is plain English? Is it American accent, or is it Southern accent, or
Hollywood
is it
accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm going based off like if it looks like a certain thing, it should probably be based off that certain.
I'm
thing.
okay with any accent. Like it's cool to go like experimental, but like I think the actual dialogue, like even if they like made up words in a different language, I feel like that's just that little bit of effort like helps, but then the rest of
But,
it is like English.
Wouldn't it be weird if like Jar Jar Binks had an Asian accent. Like there's certain things that it's like we know what this is from in our own
I
context.
think Jar Jar Binks has an awful accent as it is. I think it wouldn't hurt if he had an Asian accent.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Jar Jar Binks.
That was the worst example you could
Any other,
No, but to
let's say
OC's point,
Kid Fisto, if he had an Asian accent like that, it would kind of
I don't
feel
know.
weird.
I to OC's point, if he did an Asian accent, then I feel like they're making fun of Asians.
That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's like-
Isn't
run
there a
that-
character in Star Wars, like the one with the Jewish kind of accent? That's already a bad example.
That's true.
Like it can come off as, you know, you hear an alien character talking all hood. It can come off as like they're kind of making fun of these people. It
But
seems
like if it's an authentic Asian accent, that's fine.
is it?
As in, if it's like an alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess.
that you would have to make sure that it's authentic.
Yeah, that's.
I don't even know if it's about authenticity. It's I feel like the Jar Jar example is like no. The thing is like
Oh, so he's like, please forget Jar Jar. Please forget I said that.
That was the first alien Star Wars that came to mind. You can go Yoda, you can go
God.
Kid Fisto, you can go any of the other ones.
Okay, that's great. Yoda, right? Yoda's dope. He's cool, right?
Uh-huh,
If he had an Asian accent, I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, very like
It's more like the
sage.
character, right? If Jar Jar had an Asian accent, it's almost like you're making fun of Asian people, right? But if Yoda had one, then it's
it has to-
Don't bring in Jar Jar actually, because I can't take it anymore.
It has to be a cool character. Yes.
Oh, okay. This is not an example. This is something that I hope for future media. But I know that Blue Beetle movie's coming out.
Yeah.
The scarab is a scarab. If the scarab had like an Egyptian accent, that'd be cool.
Egyptian accent?
Wait, but
Yeah.
the scarab's alien.
I know, but if it had an Egyptian accent, would be cool.
What if the scarab had a Latino accent?
Because of Jaime.
Well, Jaime's
That and
Latino.
it's alien, but that's a different story.
No, thinking about it, like in Young Justice, the scarab is just a regular, I guess, American accent.
It's Jaime. It's the same voice actor as Jaime. It's just they digitalized his voice.
Right.
It's isn't the scarab? It's kind of like Egyptian inspired.
I guess
now.
that's fair. That's fair.
So that's why I'm like saying like would be cool if
Yeah,
it
but-
was like an Egyptian voice actor.
But the scarab in Young Justice doesn't talk in the Latino accent. That
No, it doesn't talk in any-
but it's the
no-
same
no
voice
accent.
actor, so I guess
Yeah.
that's why.
No,
I
I'm just
said
saying
that.
like that's an example of like if they chose to give the scarab an accent, I'd accept it. I'd be like, yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
that's cool, and I get what they're going for.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic. I feel like there's no right answer or wrong. Well, maybe there's a wrong one, but
But like no, but you're valid. Like sometimes just hearing like street language in like a extraterrestrial character can take you out of it.
It
right?
definitely
because
does.
that's a because street language at the end of the day is like colloquial. Like
Yeah.
this is stuff that is like specific to like what we know.
Yeah, but
And like an alien should be like totally outside of the realm of what we know.
exactly. The only caveat to this is there is a question of like, because there's a question of, you know, with voice actors, obviously they have their own portrayal. So I'm just curious, what if this person felt that that was the best portrayal for this character, where he saw it as, okay, this character is cocky. So these kind of people are cocky.
Oh my god.
Therefore,
These people.
These people.
and again, and it's like that's the other side of it, where
Who's the voice actor? I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but you can look it. You can look it up.
Jim from Minnesota.
If it was like Phil Lamar, I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Like,
that'd
I
be
don't
fun.
want to like throw shade at like a random voice actor. It's just
Yeah, me too. But my point is, it's like there could be an aspect of like there's that role to play in where the voice actor themselves
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
this is
so
their
many
idea.
people, it would have had to go through that approved that.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's true. I don't know. It's an interesting aspect, but I guess since we did mention Bullet Train, we should mention what our thoughts were about Bullet Train.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That was,
more action movies. I'm loving this like great action movies coming out.
It was great. It was really it was that kind of like fast-paced dialogue type of film. I loved the Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry characters. They play these characters called the twins.
Oh yeah,
Yay.
Yeah.
exactly.
I can't wait to see them.
Although
in
for
the
me,
film.
I just think of the guy from Tenet and the other guy from Atlanta. That's how
Yeah,
I
the guy
frame
from
it.
Atlanta,
Tenet and
Paperboy from
Atlanta come
Atlanta,
together.
And the guy
the guy from Tenet.
Yeah.
he's also Kick-Ass and
Kick-Ass. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
Aaron
Kick-Ass.
Taylor
Okay.
Johnson.
And
Yeah.
Quicksilver
Okay, Bullet
that
Train.
died.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's the
do-
Quicksilver that died.
Wow.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah, he's the
recognize
Quicksilver
him.
that died.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't recognize him.
How does this compare to like, so really fast-paced action movies are like kind of the thing now, right? Everyone's trying to be like the Raid. Where does this like land between like in like the John Wick of the world? Like, is this?
It's not that type of movie. It's a funny movie.
It's more of a funny,
Oh.
but it's really the setups and payoffs are really good in this
It's
movie.
really great setup.
Like nothing is random.
Setup and payoff.
Everything has a reason why it happens,
Yeah.
even if it appears random. So they'll explain it later, which is what I really loved about this movie. And
Is it kind of like, Ocean's 11? Or, I don't know.
If have you seen Snatch?
Yeah, I have.
It's like it's more in that vein.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, is it like very? How about the directing? Is it similar to like his?
Similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's more in that vein, but it's a really funny movie. The action is there and it's great. The characters are really interesting. Like it's full of a bunch of like eccentric, interesting characters.
as well as
Yeah.
surprises. You'd be
The
surprised.
trailers were
Yeah,
really good for
surprising.
that film because it kind of showcased like the different characters already.
Yeah. Yeah, and even cameo appearances. Like
Yeah, the
everybody's
cameo-
in
it's-
this
it's
movie.
crazy.
Ooh, cameo.
Like,
Yeah,
I
don't wanna
honestly-
sp- I don't want to spoil.
I told
who,
OC this
but-
when I was doing the movie. I felt like that director was like, "Hey, I know you. Just be in
Yeah.
this movie." Like that's how much the cameos are so random.
But that it's like the known ensemble is already crazy. Like, isn't the
Yeah.
bad guy is like
Yeah.
Michael Shannon and
Yeah.
like
No, yeah. That,
Yeah.
So it's
who I
crazy alone,
love.
but the cameos are even more crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
oh, I'll watch it.
yeah,
Sounds
definitely.
fun.
I love a cameo. Love
Definitely.
a good cameo.
definitely. Yeah, fun action movie. It's surprising. Like because when OC was like talking about it and I saw the trailers, like I thought it was cool, but I wasn't like expecting it to be as good as it was. But I was like, wow.
Is it gonna stream soon?
I don't know.
It just came out this weekend.
so.
But would you recommend seeing it in theaters versus waiting? For
Oh
it to come
yeah,
out?
I would, but I mean,
It
Oh,
depends who
Chiku,
you
why
are.
do you hesitate?
No, I mean, to me, because like when you bring up movies in theaters, I always think of like something that I feel like there's a certain experience you would get from a theater as opposed to not on stream.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't feel like there's anything in this movie that I wouldn't really get out from like
It's like-
different from the theater from.
Okay.
yeah,
As
it's
opposed
not.
to
It's
the
not
I
like
see
it
what you're
has
saying.
Yeah.
I probably
sweeping
will. Yeah.
shots or
I'll
anything
probably
like
still
that.
watch it in
Yeah.
theaters, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, I watch a lot of things like that I think are gonna be like visually stunning in IMAX, but I won't recommend it to anyone else unless I'm like, okay, yeah, the cinematography is great. Like,
Yeah,
I'm very
exactly.
conservative with recommending like, yeah, watch this in IMAX or watch
Yeah.
it on screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I respect that, but I'll probably watch it.
Yeah,
in theaters.
it's like, for example, like 1917. You can't not watch that movie not in a theater.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how the hell you watch that not in a theater?
Yeah.
But like, of course, like Batman, I could be like, oh, you can just watch it when it comes on. You know?
Yeah. I
But
don't know. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
yeah, but other than that, yeah, definitely good watch.
Nice.
Great watch.
2 movie recommendations.
Yeah.
Yes.
For
and
me-
one you can watch at home and one in theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, I still recommend the shows. Dragon Ball is a good show. And
Everyone.
Better Call
Everyone
Saul is a
knows
good
about
show.
Dragon Ball.
That's true, but still, most people just watch Dragon Ball Z and
Yeah.
never
I
watch Dragon
guess.
Ball.
Yeah, I guess.
My
Yeah.
hope is actually, so you know how Everything Everywhere came back for like one weekend?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Randomly, I was with some friends that hadn't seen it before, and I was like, I know there's like a random weekend where they're like bringing it back in theaters, and it was that weekend, and I watched it again
That's perfect.
in theaters for like, I think a third time. And it was cool because I had like a foreword from Daniels, the directors, and they were like, oh, thank you because of you guys were able to bring it back into theaters.
Oh,
And if
wow.
you stick around, there's like a blooper reel.
Oh,
My
that's
hope
cool.
is that
Cool.
like for Prey's reception to be so good and for them to earn like a little bit of money from this past weekend to be like, okay, maybe we'll come back for like one weekend. And I would recommend like to you guys and anyone out there, like, yeah, watch in theaters, support it because it's like a like predominantly indigenous cast and like it's fun and good and you know it's just support it.
Yeah.
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 I'm glad you're informed of all these like movies that are like, don't get as much as praise or
Yeah.
things like that.
No, I mean it's on Hulu, but I think it, like OC said, like it should have got a theatrical release. That's how cool it is.
Yeah.
It's just cool. Yeah.
All right, well, those were our movie suggestions and other show
And
suggestions.
Dragon Ball suggestions.
Ball.
Well, Better Call Saul started this, so let's not
Better
forget
Call
that.
I also enjoyed our little tangent with philosophy as well.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed our discussion, go ahead and give our video a like and subscribe,
Yeah.
and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Tell us where to
Peace.
boulder.
Peace.